Hello there, this is Phil Simborg for the USBGF, and today we're going to talk about races. And by the way, this video is available to anybody who comes to the USBGF Facebook site because I want to give those non-members a taste of what the members can get. I record about 2 videos a week, and I've done over 200 of these, and many times I have guest experts with me, and they are available free as a bonus to all members of the USBGF, and they cover every kind of subject you can imagine, from a range for beginners to very, very complex for experts. And you can go back and see all of the 200 plus videos if you're a member of the USBGF. So please join. It's one of the benefits of joining. There's an incredible magazine that comes out every 2 months. There are tournaments you can play, and there's discounts for Extreme Gammon and many other fine products. And you are supporting uh, the world's #1 organization that is promoting the game. Of course, there are other federations in other countries that are also doing a fine job, and we work together. But you'll see that a good percentage of the members of the USBGF are not members, are not U.S. citizens. We welcome uh, everyone who wants to support the organization. We have programs to promote the game to children in schools. We're helping seniors learn the game and enjoy the game. We have a board program that's giving boards to kids, and I've given away easily over 200 backgammon boards to children all over the country. And there's just a lot of major good reasons to join. These videos is just one more. So, okay, today we're talking about races. What determines who wins a race? Most people don't realize there are 8 factors that can determine who's going to win this race. The obvious factor, first of all, is the difference of the pip count, or the pip count. In this case, in the sample, the pip count is 41-41. So it's an even race. Anybody could win. However, who's on roll is a major, major factor. In this case, Red's on roll, and he's going to be highly favored because he's on roll. Um, Let me just tell you what the 8 factors are, and then I'll illustrate them for you. Most people don't realize that there are 8 factors. The pip count difference, the length of the race. Why will the length of the race matter? Well, let me just show you. Here's a race where the pip count is 41-41. Red's on roll. He's going to be favored, of course. He's going to win 64% of the time. With the pip count is even, and he's a 64% favorite. Let's lengthen the race by adding checkers to both sides, and now he's not going to win 64% anymore. He's going to win less. He only wins 62%. Even though they both have the same pip count, and even though he's still on roll, he wins less. Why is that? Well, the simple answer is this. From this point forward, there are 3 things that can happen. Red could roll better than blue, in which case Red wins. They roll about the same, in which case Red wins. Or blue rolls significantly better, in which case he can win. And the longer the race, the more opportunity there is for blue to catch up and roll better. And uh, he has several rolls where he could roll higher doubles or higher numbers and catch up. He has fewer rolls in this case, so that's the reason that red is favored more in the shorter the race. So the length of the race is going to partially determine who wins. Distribution, is that the next one on the list? Yes, distribution, who's on rolls. I went out of order a little bit, but distribution is a factor. Why does distribution matter? Again, let's look at this position. According to Extreme Gammon, Red wins this game 64% of the time. His pip count is 41. His pip count is 41. Let's leave Red with the exact same pip count of 41, but open up his 4 point. His pip count's still 41. I moved a checker to here and here. Does he still win 64% of the time? He only wins 59% of the time. He went down by about 5% winning chances because he's going to miss every time he rolls a 4. And not only will he not take a checker off, he has to use the 4 to move it someplace that might not be so good or might cause him to miss later anyway. So distribution is a factor. By the way, how are you going to judge all these things and determine what winning percentage there is? There are formulas for this. There's EPC, there's the Keith count, There's an eyesight improvement on the key count that I use in positions like this. There's reference positions to climb in. There's all different formulas. You need to learn the ones that apply best in each situation. But here's the important thing. You don't know what you don't know. Now you do know that you do need to consider distribution. You do need to consider the length race. And of course, you already knew that the pip count and who's on roll is a factor. And the length of the race, these formulas all take into account the length of the race as well. What other factors are there that's going to determine who wins or not? Let's take a look at my list. Cube access. Access to the cube will determine who wins more. Let's take a look at this position. Red wins 64% of the time. This is cubeless. If the cube is in the center, it's going to say the same thing 64% of the time. But I want to tell you that if red's holding the cube, he wins it a lot more than 64% of the time. If blue is on roll, if red's still on roll but blue holds the cube, now blue's going to win it more than 64% of the time. These numbers will tell you only who's going to win and by how much if the cube were not in use, if it was a one-point match. But the access to the cube is going to make a big difference. Why does it make a big difference? Let's give blue the cube here. And let's pretend that red rolls very well and gets to the point where he's going to win 80% of the time. Well, when he gets to that point, he's still going to lose it 20% of the time. But if blue's holding the cube and he gets to the point where he's going to win 80% of the time, he can double. And red should drop. And now blue has won a game 100% of the time when he got to 80%. That extra 20% that he would have lost, he doesn't lose because he got to use the cube. So that's why he's going to win more. That's one major reason why. Of course, there are situations where blue will get to be a 70% or 75% favorite, and he can redouble, and red has a take, in which case he doesn't win all of those 20 or 25% of the time that he would have lost, but he wins a lot more. He wins twice as much the games that he does win, so that gives him extra power or cube vig as well. So where the cube is, who has access to the cube, is going to affect the game. And again, the formulas that we use take that into account. What else determines who's going to win a race? Skill. Believe it or not, there is skill here. Most people don't realize that there's skill here. Let me prove to you that there's skill in playing the checkers even in positions like this. Let's take a roll of a 6-1. How would you play a 6-1? You're going to take the 6 off. That's forced. Where's your 1? Think about it. Where would you play the 1? I promise you that many players would play 6-5, and that proves that skill is going to affect the game. Because if you play 6-5, you're not going to win as often as if you make the right play, which is 3-2. And several other plays are better than 6-5. Let's talk about, but first of all, let me show you what's right. Let me prove it to you. Extreme Gammon says that if you play 3-2, that's your best play and you win about 60% of the time. Let's see how that compares with playing 6-5. I'm highlighting them and hitting plus to get a little bit higher evaluation. And the difference is about 3.5% difference. You're going to win about 3.5% more playing 3-2 than 6-5. Well, first of all, why do people play 6-5? Why do they like this position? They think that, well, now if I roll a 6 or a 5, I take a checker off no matter what. And it doesn't hurt me to move this checker from here to here. But they're wrong. It does hurt you because you wasted the 1. By moving this 1 to here, when you roll the 6, you're only going to use 5 of the little dots. And that 1 got thrown away. It was gone forever. But now when you roll a 6, you use every one of the dots and the 1 you got use of by putting it somewhere useful. Because you had a stack on the 3, the odds are you're probably going to roll 2 2s before this game is over, and the second 2 you're going to take a checker off where you wouldn't the other way. So in this situation, this checker skill would have mattered in this game quite a bit. It could have cost you quite a bit, and there are many, many rolls, even though there's no contact, where there is skill in how to play the checkers. So you need to learn how to play the checkers properly. So I've covered 6 factors. There's 2 more factors. 1 you just can't ignore. It's luck. Whoever rolls better is often going to win. You have to ignore that when you are making your decision, your cube decisions and your checker play decisions. You have to assume that luck is going to average out, that the average rolls a little bit over 8, and that you're both going to roll about average, and you're both going to have the same odds of rolling doubles and so on. And we know that's not going to be true in the short run, but you have to count on luck to even out. And if you don't think that way, you're not going to make proper decisions. You're going to play wrong. So luck. What's the eighth factor? I've named 7. What's the eighth factor? It's one that might surprise you. The eighth factor that can determine who wins a race is, I'll show it to you, cheating. And I would not be a good teacher if I didn't warn people and let people know that there is cheating. In every game, people cheat. And sometimes, of course, it's inadvertent. It's wrong to call it cheating when people make a mistake. But you've seen people roll doubles and take off 5 checkers. You've seen people roll a 6 and a 4, or a 5 and a 4, and take off a checker off the 6 and the 5. It happens. You have to keep your eyes open. You have to watch whether you trust your opponent or not. That would affect who wins the game. So it would be wrong for me not to mention that. By the way, in addition to teaching backgammon, I also am very skilled. I'm highly skilled at a game called Gin Rummy, a card game. And one of the things I do when I teach Gin Rummy is I teach how to stack the deck. I teach how to deal seconds. I teach how to look at discards. I teach how to see things in your opponent's hand. I teach all of the methods of cheating, not so that I teach people to cheat so you can catch cheaters. You have to know how to cheat. So I do in backgammon too warn students that how they can be cheated by either intentional or unintentional mistakes, so that you can catch them and not be taken advantage of. And of course, I warn everybody, don't play for money online, because it's way too easy for anybody to cheat online. And if you play for money online, I promise you, you're going to be taken at some point by cheaters. Sorry for you people who run online servers, but that's the truth, and it's been proven many, many times. So I hope this lesson was interesting to you. I hope it helps you see that you need to learn how to weigh these 8 different factors and use them to determine your odds of winning and losing races. Learn the Keith count, learn the eyesight adjustments, and learn EPC. And again, I'm not going to attempt to teach you all these today. Thank you for watching. If you're a member of the USBGF, thank you again for your support. If you're not, join. You need it for yourself and to support the game. Thank you for watching. Bye-bye.